Pikmin 4 has brought us a ton of new Pikmin merchandise, and aside from the new plushies, by far my favorite set of items are these new Pikmin-themed Terrarium models that were recently released. These beautiful displays feature tiny plastic models of the Pikmin and creatures which snap together to form a little diorama of a Pikmin scene, all contained within a little plastic bottle. My name is Vantage, and today we're going to be looking at each and every one of these Pikmin dioramas as they are fully assembled and walking through the process of putting one together. If you enjoy the video and want to see more of this sort of content, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. That said, without further ado, let's get right into it. The complete set of Pikmin terrariums includes 6 unique displays, and each of them requires some assembly. It's all a pretty straightforward process, as pieces really only go together in a specific way given the different sized pegs and slots provided, but the pieces are small and feel somewhat delicate due to their size. That said, if you look at the images provided of the final models on the side of your box and feel around for a bit, it's pretty easy to figure out how things go together. At the end of the video, I'll be assembling the model that I considered to be the trickiest, as it had a surprisingly placed peg, and hopefully it will provide a good example of how this process goes should you wish to assemble your own terrarium, or just see what the process is like. Before we do that though, I'd like to take a look through each of the jars and to appreciate the scenes on display in their completed forms. Starting things off, our first jar features a scene of some blue Pikmin swimming in the water, while the red Pikmin holds on to a lily pad for dear life. Red Pikmin, while immune to fire in the games, are not water resistant, so he's in a pretty precarious situation. The model does not use real water. Instead, the water effect is achieved by using 2 pieces of blue plastic that the blue Pikmin slot into, distorting them and giving them a partially submerged look. The whole model rests on a little wooden stump platform and is contained in a spherical bottle with a beautiful lid topped with a glass butterfly. The next model features a fiery blowhog locked in a battle with a group of Pikmin. Here, the fire resistance of the 2 red Pikmin latched onto the enemy shines, though the yellow seems to be having a hard time dealing with the foe, surrounded by shiny plastic fire emanating from the blowhog. I find myself wondering about the oxygen situation within this bottle, as I'd imagine the fire would probably interact with that, but I suppose these are models frozen in time and we will never know the answer. Beneath the combat scene, the blowhog stands on a rusty metal floor reminiscent of the metal sublevels of Pikmin 2's caves. The model is contained within a cylindrical bottle sealed with a cork made of significantly different feeling material from the rest of the model, and the bottle rests upon a plastic display plate featuring the modern Pikmin logo stylized to resemble treated wood. The next model features a small fruit being carried through a grassy or mossy landscape by a red, blue, yellow, and winged Pikmin, while a rock Pikmin skips alongside it. This model is also in a cylindrical bottle and rests on a similarly sized base plate, this one styled after a lighter sort of treated wood. This model features the most Pikmin types, including all of the types present in Pikmin 3's main campaign, where the others only feature red, yellow, or blue Pikmin. This next model is sealed in a cylinder similar to the first model we looked at, but this time its topper is stylized to look more like the screw end of a light bulb. Inside, tying in with the light bulb theme, is a dirt ground covering with an exposed red and blue wire, with 3 yellow Pikmin holding hands between them. In the games, these Pikmin can conduct electricity to light up light bulbs, and this model really cleverly uses its light bulb exterior and the Pikmin inside to create a larger-than-life bit of storytelling. In fact, the entire theme of this model is light. Even the type of fungus selected is a glow cap, which, in the games, emits light. This model rests on a small square baseplate that, similar to the other wood-style baseplates, shows the Pikmin logo. Overall, I'd say this is the best themed and most creative of the models. The next of the models is probably my favorite of the bunch. This spherical model features a red, yellow, and blue Pikmin battling a dwarf red Bulborb on a sandy ground, with the yellow desperately latching onto the foe while the red runs and the blue, well, becomes the Bulborb's lunch. Hanging from the top of the cork that plugs this model is a 3-dimensional blue Pikmin ghost, rising from the fallen little guy. This whole model rests on another log-styled base, just like the water one. Our final diorama is a spherical model featuring Olimar as he pulls on a Pikmin, plucking it from the ground, calling back to a variety of famous official art assets surrounding the Pikmin games. This lush model contains a variety of plant life, and much like the glowcap fungus from the light bulb, it wraps itself inward in order to fit the curvature of the spherical jar. The grassy ground is home to a buried red Pikmin sprout alongside a sprout which is half plucked by Olimar, frozen in a somewhat comical state where the Pikmin's eyes and head are stretched wildly out of proportion to their usual size to showcase the tension and motion of the plucking action. Olimar himself is leaned back, seemingly struggling to get the force he needs to pull this Pikmin from the earth. This model rests on a square baseplate with the Pikmin logo that is basically just a darker version of the one used for the light bulb, and the bottle is sealed with our final cork-style cap. Now that we've looked at each of these beautiful dioramas, it's time to build one ourselves. Recently, I received this extra model featuring the Ghost and Bulborb when I met up with frequent channel collaborator Davagato, the creator of the infamous Umibozu theory. And we're going to take the time to go through this assembly process, which, as you will see, is really quite simple. Taking it out of the box, the only instructions we receive is this rather unhelpful guide for putting the bottle together, which we can ignore for now. First things first, we've got to take the model parts out of the plastic bags that they came with. Now that we've got them all out, we need to match the correct size pegs with the slots on the figures and bases. Note that, on this model, the hook for the Ghost Pikmin can be found on the cork lid of the bottle, which is a rather tricky location to find. After you snap the pegs into place, you'll want to seal it inside of the bottle. For the spherical jars, such as this one, you want to put the two halves together around the model, placing it in one side and closing the bottle around it, sealing it on the bottom with this small rubber band, and depending on the model, around the top with this larger band as well. For the more cylindrical jars, the back simply screws off of the bottle and the model can easily slide in, easily resealing after it's all in place. Finally, you're going to want to delicately lift your model onto the stand. Sometimes the connections used in the model are rather loose and pieces may fall out of place, so it might be necessary to go back a few steps and reassemble it if things fall apart in the process. After all that, you've got a nice model to enjoy and show off, which can make a great addition to any Pikmin collection. So, what do you think of these models? Do you have any yourself? How is the assembly process? What do you think of the quality? Would you recommend them? Would you want to buy them if you could? Let me know in the comments down below. That said, I'll stop rambling and end things here. My name is Vantage, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Take care, and have a lovely rest of your day. Cheers!